Good afternoon. It is Friday, September the 14th. It is around 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Still have 1 hour into the closing bell here today, so could see a little bit of a squeeze in the market, either a sharp drop or a sharp squeeze higher to really squeeze the shorts out. For people anticipating a pullback today, that may just not happen. A lot of times after a big move like this, you will see a squeeze higher into the close, but overall, the market has been holding up very well. We've had two big up days in a row, and momentum is starting to stall out on the equities market. I just want to recap on a bunch of different investments here so you can see where we lie and what I'm expecting to unfold Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Here's the US dollar index. This is the 4-hour chart, 240-minute chart. You can see we're zoomed back here quite a ways, about several months, almost a year. And looking at the chart, you can see we've been in this big downtrend. We have the falling wedge as we came down to a support zone, held up for a while there, and then finally gave way. Started to go into the smaller bullish falling wedge, and then with yesterday's news with the QE3, it fell right out of bed and just went into free fall mode, more or less going parabolic straight down into this key support zone. Both times have generated either a big bounce or a multi-month rally. And the fact that we're just so oversold in the US dollar index, and I think everybody is unwinding their positions, that this final surge here is going to trigger a bounce come next week. We're actually starting to get a little bit of a bounce this morning, or today actually, and it could be the start of something that could last several sessions, and we could see a multi-day pullback in equities and commodities. Now, looking at a couple energy things, let's look at crude oil here. This is a 4-hour chart of crude oil. We've had these upper resistance zone in between these big dotted lines. That was key resistance. We had it pegged for a $100 a barrel. It came up, just spiked above that, reached that this morning in pre-market. Overall, I'm neutral on oil. It is up at resistance. We've got a downward trend line. We've got horizontal resistance, and overall, I think the US dollar is still set for a bounce. Now, if we do see a bounce in the US dollar index, it will put pressure on commodities to the downside. Looking at natural gas, we've had a really nice bounce. You could look at the daily chart. This is, again, the 4-hour chart. All these charts are 4 hours, so we're all within the same time frames. But you can see we've had this nice bounce up the support trend line. It's very clear on the daily chart also. And you can see we've had this nice bounce above this little mini basing pattern here, move to a new high, and past couple trading sessions started to form this mini head and shoulders with this very bearish right hand shoulder. We did have a breakdown. If we drop to an actual shorter term time frame and go to say a 10-minute chart of natural gas, and we zoom back a few sessions, you can see this head and shoulders pattern very clearly. And we've had this left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and we broke this neckline across here this morning, and we're down trading below that level. It's reached that level twice. Both times it's been met with selling, and you just take a measured move from more or less the neckline up to the head here, and you flip that to the downside. We'll be looking to probably come right back down and test this 285 level. And also, if you just look at this level here, you got a bear flag pull, you got the bear flag. You take this flag pull measurement to the downside, brings you also down to that level. So I do think the 285 from natural gas is going to be met probably in the next couple trading sessions, and then from there we could see natural gas continue to go higher. Looking at precious metals really quickly, we've got gold. This is the 4-hour chart, zoomed way back over a year. You can see here we finally broke out of this big down trend line. We've been more or less rocketing higher every time. Each week we seem to get some type of bullish news for it, and now we're coming right up into key resistance. This coincides perfectly with bonds hitting some new lows, or some previous pivot lows, and also with the dollar finding a bottom. So if we do see money have a bounce into the dollar and bonds, we're going to see precious metals and stocks pull back. So everything's starting to be pushed to these extreme levels, and I do feel as though we're going to get some type of kickback, meaning we're going to get our forced pullback within this bull market. Both gold and silver have broken out to a nice pattern, so this is the first leg higher. Wouldn't be surprised if we see it come down, consolidate for a bit, and then continue to work its way higher to test these other previous highs that are up here around the 1920 area. Looking at silver, Sorry, let me just grab the silver chart. Here's the silver. Same thing. We've had that breakout. It's picked up momentum to the upside, and we are coming up into these previous highs across here. We do have this little spike high, but overall key resistance is more or less right where it's trading right now. And again, a bounce in the dollar. We'll see some type of pullback, probably flush these little pivot lows out, these stops, and then we'll probably see it continue to push up and continue its bull market. Looking at the bond chart, money's been flowing out of bonds this week with the news of QE3. You can see it really fell out of bed here. It was in a nice bullish falling wedge, and with that news, it's dropped right below that, really washing the market out, breaking this previous pivot low, and that actually cleanses a lot of stops. I think everything is a little oversold here, and I do feel as though we're going to get a bounce in bonds and the dollar, which may only last a couple days, but overall it will give us an opportunity to get long and add to positions in metals and equities. Looking at the SP 500, here is the SP 500 daily chart. This is the SPY ETF. You can see how we've been going up this channel here, and then eventually got stuck in the upper end of the channel, broke out above all-time high resistance, and then we had the news yesterday, and we're starting to see a little bit of a reversal candle today where you have prices push way up and then they sell back down, giving us a long upper wick, which indicates price. There are lots of sellers up there, and I do feel as though we'll probably see a pullback either back down to this red support zone or probably down somewhere here. We've got about a 2 to 4% pullback potential all the way down to this green support trend line, which over time, over days, will still hold this key support level right back in here. So I do feel as though we're going to get some type of pullback. Likely Mondays have been historically weak for the last couple months, so we'll see if we do get that pullback Monday, Tuesday, and see it start to pick up stability around the midweek and continue to move higher. Looking at the SP 500, I have this little chart drawn up here that I put together. You can see, just looking at the recent price actions and these market cycles that we've created here. Following the cycle analysis, you can see we've got these green and red spikes. These indicate panic buying and panic selling. So when you've got these green panic sell-off days, these big gaps to the downside, they coincide with cycles bottoming, these green circles here. Usually when you get panic selling and everybody's getting flushed out, stopped out of their positions, and cycles are bottoming at the same time, they usually give you opportunities, low risk entry points to get into the market. You'll see strong bounces afterwards. And then it's the opposite for the red spikes. When you get these red spikes happening with cycle tops, then you actually see the market usually top out and pull back, or at least consolidate for some time. So right now we're in a strong uptrend, and what we're looking for now, you can see the cycles are topping out here. We've got a big move up. We've got panic buying. Everybody's flooding into the equities market right now. And I do feel as though in the next couple of days we're going to see that kind of top out, trade sideways, or pull back a little. And then once we see cycles bottom out and we see possibly a couple little pivot lows here get broken, stops will be triggered. We'll get panic selling. People will start to think the market's reversing, and that will give us an opportunity to get long the equities market. Anyways, that's it for now, and have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.